This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak and up early doing some laundry, but wanted to do a video about something that's for some reason a subject of controversy in the gaming community. One of those things that makes me remember how just fucking batshit insane society is shaping up to be. Granted, society's probably always been batshit insane, but I feel like social media, this era, just makes it more known. You know, the knowledge is more prevalent of this fact. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake. During E3, they revealed the gameplay trailer for it, and they showed some gameplay, talked about it, and then they revealed the design for one of the more popular characters, Tifa. This game is being totally remodeled to look like a modern game, so it's significant when they reveal these characters, their designs and stuff like that, which still stay true to the original, but you know, make more sense in a way for modern era, as go back to PlayStation 1 era graphics. Things were a lot more pixelated, blocky, you know, polygons weren't the smoothest looking graphical art styles in the world, but they've come out with a great model for Tifa. Of course, this great model got backlash. A lot of people started complaining that her boobs weren't big enough. Yes, you heard me. Motherfuckers are out here complaining about the size of a goddamn video game character's boobs. It reminds me of the shit that we went through with the Tomb Raider shit, but probably on a much worse level. The reason I say much worse level is because now media, or gaming media in particular, has decided to throw their sense and make this even a bigger deal and cover this by speaking directly with Square Enix and some of the designers who have explained why her chest size is smaller, or rather why her chest size isn't smaller. It's not that they shrunk her breasts, but they just gave her a proper bra. Yes, again, you heard me, people. They gave her a proper bra. They literally sat and explained to people why her boobs aren't the insanely designed way that they were back in the day, like a lot of female characters were, like a lot of female characters in different art styles are, period. You know, they had to tell people, you know, they just gave her a better bra that has more tightness and things like that. And then the author of this damn article goes on to explain boob science, basically. And I know, forgive me for sounding kind of dickish when I talk about this stuff. Like, it's not like I disagree with anything that she said, because as a man, I don't have boobs, so I can't tell her like what is actually truth or not. But my issue is that she went and actually did this in order to explain to a bunch of fucking idiots why they shouldn't be fucking upset about a video game character's boob size. The article should have began and ended with, they said that they changed their boobs because who gives a fuck? It's a video game. Grow the fuck up and get the fuck over yourselves and stop complaining about childish, nonsensical, like unimportant things in life. Jesus Christ, you're a bunch of fucking idiots and fools, and you need to get yourselves together. The end. That should have been the fucking article. We should not have to have these articles where people have to get into deep prose about this, where designers have to explain changes and things like this. Like, it's not that serious. And a lot of things aren't that serious. Like, look, when it comes to art and I say this all the time with art, media, all that stuff like that, with the exception of certain things, pretty much all of it's subjectable. There's a handful of things like facts aren't subjectable. So if I actually do a real, so I would say the stuff that she talked about, that's probably not subjectable, but it shouldn't be a part of this stupid subjectable conversation because it's a video game. They can change the art style to what they can cut her fucking boobs off if they want to, and if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. Who cares? You should not be outraged at something like this. I just don't fucking get that, like, goddamn outrage. You know, and I'll say one or two things about the author. Either God bless you, and I'm sorry that you were made to write this article, that you were put on this assignment, and that they felt like you had to like write this whole thing and include all this information just to give them something to post on IGN's website, and I'll post a link in the description. But if you chose to pursue this story, then my thoughts are, take a moment and step back and think about your career and think about what do you want it to be, and don't indulge in shit like this. Like I understand that it's important that guys understand how stuff like that works. So like I said, the latter part I don't, but I would have never taken that assignment because I was like, why are we even talking about this? This is not real media. This is not real gaming news. This isn't something that we should be discussing. There are things in gaming, again, more serious topics, more pertinent things to gaming, like the employment thing should be something that, I'm not saying you should always do articles on that, but if something new comes up in the whole employment thing where there's abused employees, that should take precedent over that. Featuring and highlighting studios that do positive things, that should take precedence over this. Just talking about the games themselves, like what are your opinions on how the game plays out. Fan outrage over boob size shouldn't be it. If it were a thing, I could see if it were more of a discussion on why we shouldn't be focusing on things like this in gaming, how things like this should be innocuous, it should not be issues. That would have been a better article to write, but not having to have the developers explain themselves and then have a female writer research and talk to experts to explain why guys should be comfortable with this, or why people, whoever it is, some women too, I'm sure, have issues, some female fans. I don't know. I don't care who you are. If you have an issue with this, again, you're a fucking moron. But, you know, having to spend time to explain and kind of like, you know, justify, because that's what it feels like when you do stuff like this. It feels like they're going out of their way to justify, and there's no need to justify this shit. Who the fuck cares? The character model looks great. It looks like Tifa. I really like it. I actually really like the models that they have for these characters. Even Barrett Wallace, who is a fucking ridiculous caricature of an African American. You know, he fits that punkish style that they have for this game. Can't stand the voice, and I really wish they would stop doing that shit. But that's another discussion. Like, that's the article that I kind of want. Like, you know, cultural stereotypes that persist throughout certain medias in certain cultures. So I do think that there is a subset of Japanese culture that still has this odd viewpoint of what an African American is, and so when they do African American art, it can come off as unintentionally offensive because that's their exposure to the culture, and that maybe they should get some people in to help make sure that they don't do that type of stuff again. That's an article that I would like to read. I'm not saying, like, again, I'm not sitting here screaming to the top of my heavens like you did him wrong and all that stuff like that, but at the same time, it is something that you recognize. Or the boob thing. Let's discuss why certain art styles have always tended to over-exaggerate the female anatomy, and why we should get used to a more normalized and realistic lean in that. Yes, this is not a media in which things are realistically done. I mean, nobody has a fucking big ass goddamn sword that they wield like it was a fucking butter knife in their hand. Ain't nobody got a gun arm. And, you know, there are some badass fighters, but the things that Tifa can do, probably no normal person can ever do as a fighter. But at the same time, there shouldn't, this weird cartoonist exaggeration of anatomy doesn't have to exist in the culture, especially since we've gotten to a point where we are able to create better realistic models, and having a more realistic type feel to things is more immersive these days in gaming. There are some games where you want to just like sit back and live in the fantasy world, like something like Cuphead and things like that. But, you know, and I, you know, can admit to this, like one game that I had fun playing, while I recognize is out of control, has like over exaggerated female characters, and I can't remember the name of the game. It came out on PS3, and if I remember it, I'll post it in the comments. But like, yeah, these fucking models are a problem. It was a fun ass game, but the fucking models are a problem. Yeah, you know, just have to be able to recognize and be more aware of, like, you know, the things that you put out there and the things that are perceived. And I feel like those who are howling about this being a problem, something being wrong, you really need to like take a step back and realize the world has changed, and that stuff isn't necessary. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not like it's gonna make the game any worse or better. Had Tifa not had the like ridiculous pixelated polygon breasts back in the day, and Final Fantasy still played the way it played, I would hope that you would have still been a huge fan of it, you know. But I don't know, it's just people tie their passions into some of the wrong things, and I need y'all to tap that passion into some more viable and serious social issues and commentary. Like, I'm just so not understanding. But this is kind of why I always say this is where the media is going, because the sensationalization of a lot of things that aren't or shouldn't be that important has led them to, and you know, I'm not gonna wholeheartedly knock the writer or IGN, because in today's society, this is the type of stuff that gets copied. This is the type of stuff that draws eyes, and it's just a shame that, you know, this had to be brought to the scale. This article should have never had to be written. It would be nice sometimes if, like, publishers would just come out and say to these people, you know what, I don't want you as that type of person playing my shit if you think that I am ruining your experience over this. Like, really take a step back and think about what the fuck you're doing. And if you're still upset, go fuck yourself. Like, I really wish, like, they could, but I understand how business work, and you kind of want to protect, you know, your investments by not angrily pissing off the customers like that. But it would just be nice to live in a world where, like, more rational things are, like, brought to the table, and you can just wholeheartedly just fucking throw a middle finger up to anybody who has this irrational viewpoint of things. It's just dumb. It's just fucking dumb, you know. But, you know, the game looks good. I still maintain that it's probably one of the more overrated Final Fantasies. My preference is being 6, I like 9. You know, 6, 9. Actually 4, which was 2 in America, and the first one always has a place in my heart because it was like the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. It was actually the first JRPG that I ever played and fell in love with. So that holds a nostalgia place, but I don't necessarily think it's one of the better games to be overall. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. Y'all get over this shit. Seriously, I'm sorry. All right. So anyway, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak, makers in the mouth. Deuces.